Hey everyone, my name is Jason Bogdan. I am 24 years old. I grew up in Queens, New York, in Ridgewood, Queens, on the Brooklyn-Queens border. So I get off the train in Brooklyn. By the time I get home, I'm in Queens. And I'm a middle child. I have a younger brother, older sister. My brother's 19, my sister's 26. We grew up in a three-bedroom apartment, and I've lived in the same apartment my whole life. I went to PS71 was my elementary school. It was about 6 or 7 blocks from my house, and my mom used to walk us to school every morning until we were in about third grade, and then we were allowed to walk by ourselves without our parents, but in a group with friends. And that stopped because we took a different route to school. My mom used to walk us down the main avenue, and she found out when we were going on our own, we walked these back roads. And we got in big trouble for that, and then they started walking us again. Then I went to middle school, and I applied to the Louis Armstrong School in, I think it's in Corona or Jackson, I don't know where it is, Elmhurst maybe. And it was specialized school, and I didn't get in, so I had to go to the zone school around the corner from me, IS 93. And I went there 6 through 8. 93 was like the bad school that nobody wanted to go to. The rumor was that freshman Friday was brutal and that, it was, you were going to get beat up every day in school. But I loved it, and it was the kind of school that you learn at a young age that your education is always going to be what you make of it. It wasn't the best school necessarily. There were a lot of bad kids and a lot of problems. But if you wanted to get a good education, it was there for you. The way the school was run, it was 601, 602, 603 were called the SP classes. They were the special placement classes. So if you got into one of those, you were quote-unquote more intelligent than other kids or a little more advanced. And so I was in 601, 702, and then when it came to 8th grade, they originally put me in 853 or something like that, which wasn't special ed, but it was bordering on, a special ed class, not mainstream education. And my mom called the school and wondered why I had gone from all of these classes, because my grades didn't change. My grades were fantastic in middle school. I had mid-90s average and all, my average was in the mid-90s. And my teacher told my mom that they do that to some kids, and if their parents don't complain, they keep them there. So luckily my mom put up a little bit of a fuss, and they moved me back into the SP classes. I got into 803. So the trajectory was 601, 702, 803. I remember middle school. My first girlfriend was in middle school. My first kiss was outside the library across the street from the school. And my friends and I played this game about, the bases. First base was a kiss, tap kiss as we called it on the lips. Second base was a tongue kiss. A third base was touching. And, a home run was sex, which looking back on makes absolutely no sense because there's a big gap there in all the bases. But so I remember we started dating, Crystal and I, and we were on the steps of the library, and I don't know, I said something, she said something, and then we kissed. And it was that big moment that you wait for from, I don't know, when you were a kid. I was 11 or 12, and we tongue kissed, second base. So I ran home. I lived 2 or 3 blocks from the school, and I ran up the stairs, and I called my best friend, and I was like, hey, I just stole second. I stole second. I distinctly remember saying that, and how cheesy and corny, but I guess that's what I felt when I was a kid. So middle school was where I felt my first, love, tastings of love. I went on to date one of my best friends in middle school. In middle school, we didn't date after middle school. Sarah Maggio was her name. Really nice Italian girl, and she went to Italy one summer. We were dating, and then school ended. I think it was like 7th grade. We were going to 8th grade. She went to Italy. She used to go to Italy every summer, but this was the first time we were quote-unquote dating. And she came back, and she said, I don't think we can date anymore. I met another boy in Italy, and his name was Pasquale. And to this day, anytime I've met someone with that name, I've met 2 people with that name, I instantly don't like them. And I felt like she went to another country and fell in love with another man. I don't think I've spoken to her since 8th or 9th grade, so obviously it didn't really drastically affect my life, but I felt like it would then. 6th grade, I think, was the first Harry Potter book came out. That was a pretty big deal. I got it pretty early. Then I got a Harry Potter blanket, a comforter, which I had up until this year. So I had it for a good, 10 years, something like that. So my relationship with my blanket started back. A lot of relationships forming in middle school for me. So that would be my middle school years. It's where I actually started doing theater as well. In 6th grade, I was put into the drama talent. Not that I had any, that's just what it was called. And we went on to do little shows like you would improv during class, and you ended up building a show around that improv. And that's when I found out about the Frank Sinatra School of the Arts in high school. And my drama teacher helped me with my monologue. 2 monologues helped me prepare. And a funny story, he brought in a bunch of monologues and said, read these and tell me which you think works for you. So I picked a monologue from A Raisin in the Sun. And for those of you who don't know, I'm white. And I read the monologue and thought, wow, it was a great piece of writing about this father who wanted better for his son. He told him, one day I'll come into your room and I'm going to lay out these college brochures and I want you to be able to pick from any one of them. And I thought, well, that's something my dad would do, and that's something I really want to be a part of. So I did the monologue, not realizing that you were supposed to be black to do the monologue, but I got into the school, so I guess it was okay.